Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for March 22nd, 2023 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. It was a really nice morning with sunny skies and light winds that were mostly easterly, and as we got into the early afternoon, it clouded over and the wind shifted to more of a northeast lake breeze, and by mid-afternoon it was completely overcast with those cold winds, and that kind of shut the flight down, so good day in the morning, but as the day went on, it became pretty slow. Here's an American tree sparrow stretching its wing, and the one interesting thing about tree sparrows is that they have bicolored bills. So the top is sort of a gray or dark, and the bottom is yellow. There were a lot of red-winged blackbirds and common grackles migrating this morning. Here we have a flock of grackles, and here's a closer look at a common grackle. You can see they have a fairly long tail compared to things like red-winged blackbirds, and they're also a bit bigger. Quite a few ring-necked ducks were hanging out pretty close to the boardwalk, allowing for good photos. Here we have a northern harrier, so we can see that somewhat owl-like face. You can see the white rump patch a bit. And this looks like a juvenile harrier because it doesn't have much streaking on the underside, and it's fairly plain in the patagial area. Here we have a flock of tundra swans dropping onto the bay, and we're still seeing a small number of migrating tundra swans, so we'll enjoy them for as long as we have them. I think their migration should be winding up fairly soon. We still have some gulls around, although since the ice is all gone from the bay and the marina, there's not as many hanging out directly in this area, but here we have a nice adult herring gull. Great blue heron numbers continue to pick up. I think we had around a half dozen of them today, including a few good looks. It was also a good day for migrating killdeer. We had around 20. I think the bird of the day, for those of us there in the morning, was this eastern meadowlark that started out perched up in a tree. And then it dropped down into the grass and was showing off its yellow undersides in the sun. We had small groups of migrating turkey vultures throughout the morning and into the early afternoon, mostly on the parkway side because that northeasterly lake breeze was pushing everything off to our left. Here's a juvenile Cooper's hawk. So you can see the long tail, relatively big head and wings held straight. We know that it's a juvenile because it has vertical brown streaking on the breast. Again, that's if it was perched up in front of us. The streaking would be vertical. And we see that he's got some damage to one of the tail feathers. This is an adult red-tailed hawk. We can see the dark patagial bars, although they're fairly faint on this individual, and the belly band. And it's an adult, so we see the dark trailing edge to the wing and the red tail. Here we have another juvenile Cooper's hawk showing the same field marks. And also notice the streaking. It's sort of a brown teardrop streaking, mostly concentrated on the upper breast. That's a good field mark for Cooper's hawk. Some juvenile sharp-shinned hawks show a similar streaking, but a lot of juvenile sharpies show a bit of a heavier streaking that almost looks more like the barring of adults. So this is pretty typical streaking for juvenile Cooper's hawks. Sandhill cranes put on a great show today. We had various groups. At one point we had 6, and then we had a couple groups of 4. So it was a little hard to keep track of exactly how many we saw throughout the day, because they tend to wander back and forth, but somewhere around 15. Here's 2 more sandhill cranes soaring together. Notice that they hold their necks out straight, and just take note of the overall coloration. And here's another adult red-tailed hawk. This looks like a typical eastern borealis subspecies. So we see the pale throat, fairly faint patagial bars again on this one. We see the dark belly band. And it's an adult, so it has the dark trailing edge and the red tail. If we take a look at the eBird checklist, today I had 60 species, which really shows you how many new species are showing up because it kind of felt like a mediocre day, and a week or 2 ago to get 60 species in a day was really something, but now, even on the moderate days, we're getting that many. And looking at hawk count for the migrant raptor totals for today, we had 68 turkey vultures, with only 3 bald eagles, a little bit light on eagles today. 3 northern harriers, 1 sharp-shinned hawk, 3 Cooper's hawks. For buteos, we had 1 red-shouldered hawk and 8 red-tailed hawks. And for falcons, we had 2 American kestrels and the first peregrine falcon of the season, which was distant off to the right. It was out over the barrier island. It looked like it was hunting out there. And I saw it first thing early in the morning when I got there. And so we had a total of 90 migrating raptors today. The only new species for the season was that peregrine falcon. And looking at the weather for tomorrow, we're looking at cloudy with periods of rain, high in the low 50s, winds starting west-southwest and shifting west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain 100%. So in the morning, it's a decent wind direction, but pretty quickly it's shifting westerly and west-northwest. So that's an okay wind direction, but combined with the rain, I wouldn't really expect there to be any raptor flight. I'll probably go out for a little while just to see what the exact conditions are. Sometimes you'll get birds trying to push through when it's rainy, but thinking we won't have any migration at all tomorrow, so might be a rain day for me. For Friday, looking mostly cloudy, high around 40, winds northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so a little bit of a colder day, wind coming northwest off of the lake, but fairly light, so I would expect to see some migration on that day, but not a huge amount. And for Saturday, it's looking windy with rain early and then cloudy with showers. High back up into the low 50s, but winds east-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. So that's not a good wind direction for us just because it's a headwind. Combine that with the rain, and I just don't think we'll have very much, especially since the wind is so strong. 20 to 30 from any direction is usually just a little bit too strong. So not looking like a good day on Saturday either. So out of the next couple days, Friday looks like maybe our shot at a bit of migration, but looking to Saturday and even beyond, there's not really any terrific looking days coming up. I also want to mention that this evening at dusk, some friends and I met and went to look for American woodcocks, and we had about 5 or 6 of them that put on a pretty good show. So if you're interested in seeing American woodcocks, this can be the right time of year to go out and see them from now over the next few weeks especially. So it's one of those fun spring activities to get you in sync with the cycle of the year. So definitely do that if you have a good spot near you to see American woodcocks. From Lyco Birds, this is David Brown. Thanks for watching.